Jeffrey Dahmer, a name that struck fear across America. He wasn't just a serial killer. He became infamous for his cannibalistic acts, crimes that defied all bounds of humanity. Have you ever imagined that someone who seemed mild-mannered could harbor such a dark and twisted soul? This is the story of a man who murdered 17 victims, turning innocent lives into tools to satisfy his bloodlust and distorted mind. Dahmer didn't just kill. He dismembered, preserved body parts, and even consumed human flesh to keep his victims with him forever. His actions weren't just horrifying. They posed a chilling question. What turns a person into such a monster? Was Dahmer a product of his environment, or the embodiment of innate evil? His story began in 1978 when, at just 18 years old, he committed his first murder. Stephen Hicks, his first victim, was killed simply for refusing to stay and chat. From that moment, Dahmer embarked on a killing spree that spanned over a decade. His crimes centered around Milwaukee, where he lured victims, mostly men, back to his apartment with promises, only to end their lives. One of the most harrowing cases involved a 14-year-old boy, Conorak Synthesomphone. Despite Conorak's desperate attempt to escape and being discovered by neighbors, Dahmer managed to convince the police that the boy was his drunken boyfriend. Hours later, Conorak became another victim. If the police had been more vigilant, how many lives could have been saved? Many have asked, what was Dahmer's true motive? Was he simply a depraved individual craving absolute control over his victims? Or was he trying to escape loneliness by keeping them with him in the most twisted, brutal way possible? Some psychologists suggest that Dahmer's behavior was influenced by a lonely childhood and a fractured family. But can that justify his monstrous actions? When Dahmer was arrested in 1991, his apartment became a scene of unimaginable horror. Police discovered photographs of his victims, body parts preserved in his freezer, and undeniable evidence of his crimes. What shocked the public even more was Dahmer's calm demeanor. He confessed to everything, showing no attempt to hide his actions, even stating that he couldn't stop. Dahmer was sentenced to 15 life terms, but his life ended violently when another inmate killed him in prison. His death left a lingering question. Was his end a tragic loss of a disturbed soul or justice served for a monster? Opinions about Dahmer remain divided. Some view him as the ultimate representation of pure evil, beyond comprehension. Others blame his upbringing and society for inadvertently shaping him. Regardless of the reasons, Dahmer's story forces us to wonder, how many monsters are hiding among us, wearing the mask of normalcy, waiting for the right moment to strike? What do you think? Was Dahmer a product of his environment or inherently evil?